Hi everyone, Tuva here. Just want to talk today about two metals. Done some other videos. If you want to find them, I'll put the link above. The one on working with gold and also in silver and how that involves the moon. So I wanted to carry on and do the next couple of metals that are very important in the occult in all types of practice, and that is iron and copper. Now I love copper. Copper is a brilliant metal. It's ideal for healings and things like that. So I'm going to go into them, but first we're going to start off with iron. Like the other metals, it is found everywhere. Iron is absolutely everywhere in the earth. It's from meteorites, so hence it has come from universal energies, which is amazing. Now I personally use iron as a pendant in grounding rituals, because with iron it stops any negative energies attacking you. It will be like a magnet to that energy that's not supposed to be there, and it will suck on it and take it, but it will also get rid of. So you can see how wonderful iron is. Also brilliant, because you're getting rid of all the negative energies. You can use it to astral travel or journey shamanically, and it is a safeguard. It stops anything that you don't want attacking you. Use hematite stones, which has that property in, and stick them in your pockets, shoes, any part of you really, even in a handbag or wallet. Brilliant for protection and safeguarding. So whenever you're out and you're picking up negativity around you, it will help you to stay calm from it. Another thing, you can look back over time and you might find houses where they used to have horseshoes hung up at the doors and the back doors and places of windows and anywhere that they felt in them days that anything bad could get in, because horseshoes are made out of iron, and if you notice the holes, there were so many holes in them, and sometimes that would be 13 holes. So you can see how they would use, even back then, iron as a protection and a safeguard for their homes. If somebody did have one in the home, they were obviously a witch. So it was a magical protection and barrier, something that we all need in this day and age, any day and age really. Over the times, witches have always put protection barriers up, and this is one easy way, an easy method to do that. It's associated with the planet Mars and the god Tyr. So there's quite an energy to it. If you can see those two aspects, they made their weapons out of iron and the ores that come from it. So people back then would have thought of that as a protection as well. So in battle, they felt it was a good way to banish anything negative or any enemy. We all know that witches have cauldrons, and guess what they're made out of? And they are painted in black, obviously, but they are iron, wrought iron, and they're very heavy. But that means anything you're doing spell work wise in that cauldron is not going to get tainted. Your spell will be as you want it to be, because that wrought iron is going to push away anything that might want to creep into your spell. So that is another reason why cauldrons are used. Impenetrable, basically. Hence, you can see what a friend to the witch iron really is. Iron nails were also bashed into houses. Again, they were made out of iron, the nails, and they also became like, stopping anything bad getting in. So they were put around doorways, beds and things like that. And sometimes they would even bash them into coffins to stop anything taking over their loved ones after death, because there were fear that people would come back from the dead, and that really scared people. They didn't want that. And there was a high level of people actually not being dead when they were buried, so they would wake up in their coffins, absolutely awful. And so again, there was a fear that if they didn't put the nails in their coffin, that their loved ones would come back. They didn't understand that they weren't actually dead when they were buried. Again, when you have an iron pendant and you're in an area where an energy is coming at you, attacking you, it cannot get to you. It can only go to that iron pendant, because imagine like a magnet, it's there, a huge magnet. Imagine yourself as like flesh, and then in front of you is a huge magnet, and that is the thing that will catch that bad energy, and it will retain it and then throw it out, stop it getting to you. You will not even know that you have been attacked, because it's done its job well. Now we get on to Thor. Now Thor had his wrought iron gloves, yarn rapier, lovely gloves, but they were very powerful, and they used to catch his hammer. He couldn't have held his hammer without these gloves. His hammer also, Mjolnir, was made of iron. He also had a belt, Magickal, and that was also made of iron. So you can see how prominent iron is even to the gods. It gave him strength, mighty strength. It enhanced his strength, enhanced all the power, especially with his hammer, and it would fly back to him. One of the dwarfs, one of the brothers, called Brokir, he was the one that made the hammer. He said it was something that he could use that would never miss its target, because it had, like, didn't say it in the book, but basically iron has that property, as I said to you, magnetic, so it would never miss a target. Then he could retrieve it. The glove was also magnetic, and hence it would come back. Iron came back to iron. Tyr, a wonderful god, god of war, but god also of justice, again wielding that sword, iron sword. So we can see how strongly that is. And Mars, the planet Mars, a very vibrant warlike planet, and so there are links to iron being very, very important, and it is used in spells. So how do you use it in your spell work? You can get powdered iron, you can get it, and that can be added to poppet dolls, it can be added to water solutions, it can be added to all sorts of stuff, and used as protection spells for people. Very good. You don't always have to have a horseshoe and nails. If you remember back in the old days, they had ranges that were made out of iron. You know, even the mangles were made out of iron. Iron is very much used in the older days, not so much in this day and age. So it's more important for us to be putting that iron back in our lives for protection. They were more protected back then than what we are now. So think about that, guys. Copper. I love copper. Copper is a brilliant, brilliant metal, used in magic, used in occult work, used in all sorts of ways. It's love and sympathy and compassion. That metal is so beautiful to look at as well. When polished up, it can send and amplify thoughts that are in you and in others. Electrical and healing properties. Electrical, imagine that. If you look at a plug, what wires do they have for the electric? Copper. So you've got bundles of copper. So even people that are not magical know that copper can direct electrical currents. Spiritually, it is related to the third eye, and it promotes psychic abilities and consciousness of other worlds around you. It promotes your spirituality in a big way. Copper around crystals, you have an amazing conductor because it amplifies that crystal's abilities. So imagine that you have a healing crystal and it has copper wound around it. That, my friends, is very powerful. In the old days, copper was used as healing agents. The seers and the healers of the villages would use copper. It was something that they were able to get hold of, and they would use it. And so you would find that they would put, like the silver, they would put copper in water and let it stand for a while, and then that copper would be ingested into the person. People may say, well, isn't that dangerous? No, we have all these elements within us. We have iron, we have copper within us, we have mercury within us. We are made up of elements, we are made up of water, and so that is why these things work for healing, why they work for protection, because they relate to us. They relate to what we have going on inside of us. Copper repairs the tissues and the flesh. It oxygenates the blood, allowing it to work properly and heal the rest of the body. For if you get the blood to work better, it will help heal any tears in the skin and things like that. It's brilliant for arthritis, and you can buy bracelets made of copper, and if worn all the time will aid that person with their arthritis pain and give them more mobility. So if you suffer with that, guys, it might be a good idea to get a copper bracelet. It also strengthens the female reproductive system. So for people who have fertility problems, this would be a good aid for them to wear something copper around certain times of the month when they're trying to conceive. Would aid that energy of reproduction. But worn daily, you will notice that your energy levels will rise and you will feel vibrant and full of life. People that have never done it before and then start wearing it will actually find that this is true. It does actually work. Copper also reflects in your aura. It's very good spiritually for sending messages backwards and forwards for those psychics and mediums that can communicate with spirit or deity, for those that are conducting information releases. Then copper used in that ritual or in that time will help that message stronger, come to you stronger, go to them stronger. It's a good conduct. Electrically, look at Thor with his hammer and the lightning bolts. It's all electrical, it's all to do with energies. When we work as witches, we work with energies, and those energies come through different forms. You have crystals, you have your magic inside, you have metals. Metals are widely used in all occult proceedings. It also reduces inflammation. So if you've got an inflammatory disorder like bowel problems, where anything that's inflamed, put copper near it or on it, and you might actually feel it going down. There are 5 points that this metal can actually aid you in, and the first one is stiffness and joint pain is eased considerably. So if you have that, it's a good idea to try and use copper. Number 2, it increases your cardiovascular system, aiding those that have issues around the heart area. 3, it gives you a better immune system for fighting infections. So again, build yourself up with copper. You will find that you will be able to fight the common colds and things like that a lot better than you did before. Number 4, emotional healing, but also enabling people that are depressed and things like that to be able to communicate easier and to be able to live life in a better way emotionally, which aids them mentally. It also draws on the lunar and the sun energies, and that is an amazing thing to be able to do, hence the colour of it. You have, it's not gold, it's not silver, but it is its own colour, and that is because of the influences from both the sun and the moon, and that will give you that added power from both of those sources. Battles viruses. That is also brilliant. This copper is widely needed today. People do not understand how much that aided our ancestors, that today we don't think of things like this. But as witches, guys, we need to be using this in our work and helping others. You know, we can make these. You only need to get a crystal and get some copper wire and put it round and give it to somebody as a present. You've got a spell there to aid them. You've got a gift that's going to aid them in their health, in their vitality, in their living daily practices. That You watch, you see them change, you can see the power of copper. Now, in the Norse mythology aspect, there's not a lot I can tell you, but I know it is linked to the goddess Er. Now, she is the goddess of healing. Her name means mercy or help. So we can see what a beautiful goddess she is. Handmaiden of the goddess Frigg, Odin's wife. Known as a Valkyrie, she is also associated with the Norns. So she's quite a powerful goddess, one to be enjoyed. Her love and what she wants to give us is wonderful, and copper is related to her. So we can induce her energy when using copper in our spells. Her healing instruments, what she uses was saunas, bandages and herbs, folk medicine obviously of that day and time, and the copper colour used at the top of the hills, the hilltops. She's renowned for being in the hilltops. There must be a reason for that, guys. Doesn't go into it, but hilltops are very much located with the goddess Er. So, not a long one today. I just wanted you guys to get a couple more aspects on the metals, what they do and how we can use them. Not in depth like the other two, but there are so many metals that we can use in our practice that are also in the Norse mythology writings. In many places, many gods and goddesses relate to the different metals. The planets relate to the different metals. And because they all come from interstellar, they all come from meteorites originally. They come from stars that have exploded. So how much more do we not understand about the properties of these beautiful elements that we can use daily in our lives and aid ourselves? So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I want to say to any new subscribers, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the content in this channel. To those that are just flicking through, have another look at some of the others, and if you like what you see, please think about subscribing and pressing the notification button, for that way you will know when I'm uploading. And to those that are always there, always my backbone, always supporting me, thank you guys. I really do appreciate you, I really do. And I'm going to leave it there, as I just said. So wherever you are, whatever time of day, night or evening it may be, I wish you the best ever. House of Alang.